The Rifleman, which aired from 1958 to 1963, is a classic Western that captured the hearts of millions. The iconic series not only defined the genre but also introduced audiences to unforgettable characters and talented actors. Now, 67 years later, where are the cast members of The Rifleman today? From their careers after the show to their personal lives and lasting legacies, this article takes you through the fascinating journeys of the stars. Join us as we revisit their stories and uncover what happened to these beloved actors, now in 2025. Don't miss out on this intriguing update. Chuck Connors, who portrayed Lucas McCain in The Rifleman, began filming the series in 1958 at the age of 37. His role as a rugged, skilled marksman and devoted father made him a beloved figure in American television. However, Connors' personal life was a far cry from the strong and dependable character he portrayed on screen. He had a tumultuous love life, with 3 marriages that ended in divorce, and he struggled with alcohol and depression. His career, which began with great promise, faltered after The Rifleman, and he faced financial difficulties and a lack of meaningful roles. Despite his success, his family life was fraught with tension, and he became estranged from his children. Chuck Connors passed away on November 10, 1992, at the age of 71 from pneumonia. His death marked the end of a life that was defined by both fame and personal sorrow, as he struggled in his final years with loneliness and regret. Paul Fix, who played Micah Torrance, the wise and steadfast marshal in The Rifleman, started filming the series in 1958 when he was 57 years old. His portrayal of the calm and moral lawman was beloved, but Fix's personal life was filled with hardship. He was married 3 times, with his second wife tragically passing away, leaving him heartbroken. Though his acting career spanned decades, he struggled to find meaningful roles after The Rifleman ended. In his later years, Fix faced a painful battle with cancer, which took a toll on both his physical and emotional well-being. He was forced to cope with the loss of his health and the toll it took on his life and career. Paul Fix passed away on October 14, 1983, at the age of 82 after a prolonged battle with cancer. His later years were marked by a sense of loss, both personally and professionally, as he struggled with the fading of his career and his deteriorating health. Johnny Crawford, who played Mark McCain in The Rifleman, began filming the series in 1958 when he was only 12 years old. His portrayal of the curious and brave young boy was loved by fans, but Johnny's personal life took a darker turn as he grew older. He never married and had no children, spending much of his life isolated and battling health issues. After his acting career waned, Johnny struggled financially and personally. In his later years, he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease and, in 2020, contracted COVID-19, which worsened his condition. His final years were filled with sorrow, with a career that never reached the heights many had hoped for and personal battles that overshadowed his early success. Johnny passed away on April 29, 2021, at the age of 75 due to complications from Alzheimer's and COVID-19, leaving behind a life marked by both achievement and tragedy. Bill Quinn, who played Frank Sweeney on The Rifleman starting in 1958 at the age of 46, brought to life the character of a friendly and dependable bartender, always offering advice and a listening ear to the people of North Fork. However, behind his on-screen warmth, Quinn's personal life was fraught with heartache. His first marriage ended in divorce, and despite remarrying, he faced constant emotional struggles, which deepened over the years. A particularly painful moment came in the 1980s, when he lost a close family member, amplifying his sense of loss. While his acting career provided him with a steady income, it couldn't shield him from the emotional toll of his personal life. Bill Quinn passed away on April 29, 1994, at the age of 81 from natural causes, leaving behind a life marked by personal sorrow, a stark contrast to the dependable, comforting role he played on screen. Patricia Blair, who began her role as Lou Mallory on The Rifleman in 1962 at the age of 29, played a strong, resourceful businesswoman who was known for her resilience and ability to thrive in a male-dominated frontier town. However, Patricia's personal life was far less stable. She endured a difficult marriage that ultimately ended in separation, and despite having children, her family life was marked by deep emotional strain. Her husband's infidelity and emotional neglect left lasting scars on her, and she struggled with feelings of isolation. Later in life, Patricia was diagnosed with breast cancer, a diagnosis that added yet another layer of pain to her already difficult life. Despite a courageous battle, she passed away from the disease on September 9, 2013, at the age of 80. Her death highlighted the emotional battles she fought off-screen, reflecting the often hidden suffering of those who, like her, appeared strong in the public eye. Joan Taylor, who portrayed Millie Scott on The Rifleman starting in 1960 at the age of 31, was known for her portrayal of a compassionate and nurturing widow who ran the local store in North Fork. Despite the kindness her character exuded, Joan's real life was far from fulfilling. She was married twice, first to an unnamed man and later to director Frank Tuttle, but both marriages ended in painful divorces. Joan never had children, a fact she deeply regretted, as motherhood was something she had longed for. As the years passed, Joan became increasingly isolated from Hollywood, finding it difficult to reconcile her public persona with the loneliness she faced privately. Her personal struggles, including the absence of a family of her own, left her feeling incomplete, despite her professional success. Joan Taylor passed away on March 4, 2012, at the age of 82 from natural causes. She left behind a career filled with warmth on-screen, but off-screen, she carried the sorrow of dreams unfulfilled and a life marked by emotional solitude. Joe Higgins, who portrayed Nils Swenson on The Rifleman beginning in 1960 at the age of 35, was beloved for his portrayal of a hardworking, friendly blacksmith. However, off-screen, Higgins' life was marked by numerous personal struggles that overshadowed his career. He battled alcoholism for much of his life, which took a toll on his health and strained his personal relationships. His first marriage ended in divorce, and despite remarrying, his later years were filled with emotional turmoil and health issues. Despite his steady acting career, these challenges affected his ability to find peace or happiness in his personal life. Joe Higgins passed away on June 15, 1998, at the age of 72 from a heart attack, a sad and quiet end to a life plagued by health complications and personal misfortunes that remained largely hidden from the public. Harlan Warde, who portrayed the upright and fair John Hamilton on The Rifleman beginning in 1958 at the age of 41, had a life that mirrored some of the struggles his character faced. Warde's marriage to actress Susan Oliver began with high hopes, but their relationship crumbled, leading to a bitter divorce that left Warde heartbroken. This emotional turmoil affected his career, with fewer roles coming his way as he struggled to move on. His sense of personal failure and the loneliness that followed became a shadow over his professional life. As his career slowed and Hollywood moved on, Harlan found himself drifting further from the limelight, emotionally worn down by the collapse of his marriage and the isolation that followed. Warde passed away on March 13, 1980, at 62 after a long illness. Though his death was attributed to natural causes, his life had been quietly consumed by the weight of personal disappointment and missed opportunities, both in love and career. Hope Summers, who began playing Hattie Denton on The Rifleman in 1958 at the age of 56, was beloved for her role as the caring, wise store owner who often offered advice to those around her. Off-screen, however, Hope's life was far from the nurturing warmth her character portrayed. She was married twice, both unions ending in separation, and she never had children. The sudden death of her first husband left her a widow, and her second marriage failed, leaving her emotionally drained. Hope spent much of her life grappling with loneliness, particularly as she grew older and found herself without the family she had always longed for. Despite a successful acting career, Hope felt disconnected from the world around her, her personal life marked by the absence of love and the grief of unfulfilled dreams. She passed away on June 22, 1979, at the age of 77 from natural causes. Her death was the end of a life marked by emotional isolation and the quiet sorrow of never finding true companionship. John Milford, who portrayed the tough and resilient Bro Hadley in The Rifleman from 1959 at the age of 32, was a man of great promise, but his life off-screen was filled with hardship and struggle. Although his role on the show brought him recognition, his career never fully reached the heights he had hoped for, and he was often overlooked in the industry. His personal life was similarly turbulent. He married, but the relationship was fraught with difficulties and ended in divorce. Milford struggled with addiction and depression, battling demons that seemed to follow him throughout his life. His health deteriorated due to skin cancer, and he became estranged from his family. He passed away on August 14, 2000 at the age of 72, a victim of a long and painful battle with the disease. His death was not just the loss of an actor, but of a man who had spent much of his life struggling with unfulfilled dreams and internal pain. Ralph Moody, who played the compassionate Dr. Burridge in The Rifleman starting in 1960 at the age of 74, brought a depth of kindness and wisdom to the role, yet his personal life told a far more tragic story. After years of working in Hollywood, his career in his later years began to fade, and he struggled to maintain a presence in the industry. Though he had children, he experienced a strained relationship with them, and his brief marriage ended in separation. Moody's personal life was one of isolation, often overshadowed by his struggles with health issues. The actor's final years were marked by declining health and loneliness, and he passed away on September 16, 1971 at the age of 84. His death came quietly, a reflection of the years of personal sorrow he had endured. Despite his success as Doc Burridge, his real-life story was one of missed opportunities and a deep sense of solitude. John Anderson, who took on the role of the rugged and determined Cass Callicott in The Rifleman beginning in 1959 at the age of 37, played a character whose strength and resolve contrasted sharply with Anderson's own troubled personal life. While he was a talented actor, Anderson's career was often plagued by financial difficulties and missed opportunities, leaving him in a constant struggle to make ends meet. His personal life mirrored the hard life of his on-screen character, with 2 failed marriages and strained relationships with his children. Anderson also battled alcoholism, a demon that ravaged both his health and his career. As the years went by, his physical health deteriorated, and he became increasingly withdrawn. He died on August 7, 1992 at the age of 69, his life marked by pain and regret. His passing was a sad end to a life that had been full of unrealized potential and unspoken sorrow, leaving behind a legacy of battles lost both on-screen and off. Chris Alcaide, who played the tough and resilient Ross on The Rifleman starting in 1959 at the age of 37, embodied the rugged spirit of the Old West. Ross was often involved in dangerous situations, proving himself to be a loyal and determined character. However, Alcaide's own career trajectory did not mirror the success of his role. Despite his acting talent, his career remained limited to television, with few major roles outside of The Rifleman. His personal life was similarly turbulent, marked by 2 marriages, both of which ended in heartbreak. His first marriage ended in divorce, and he had 2 children with his first wife. His second marriage was tragically cut short when his wife passed away from cancer, leaving Alcaide emotionally devastated. He struggled with loneliness and isolation in his later years, unable to find lasting happiness. Chris Alcaide passed away from cancer on June 30, 2004, at the age of 81, leaving behind a quiet and solitary end. Dabs Greer, who played the kind-hearted and dependable Finney on The Rifleman starting in 1959 at the age of 42, was beloved by audiences for his gentle portrayal of a character always willing to help others. However, Greer's personal life was marked by tragedy and loss. His first wife died from a rare illness in the 1960s, a heartbreak that left him emotionally devastated. Greer's second marriage also ended in divorce, leaving him isolated and struggling with feelings of abandonment. While his acting career continued, it was marred by a sense of unfulfilled potential, as he never achieved the level of fame many of his peers did. Greer faced significant health challenges in his later years, including kidney failure, and his personal struggles were never far from the surface. On April 28, 2007, at the age of 90, Greer passed away from kidney failure, his death marking the end of a long life filled with both professional accomplishment and personal sorrow. Peter Whitney, who portrayed Andrew Bechtel on The Rifleman in 1959 at the age of 43, brought to life a formidable and imposing character, a man deeply involved in the complexities of frontier justice. Off-screen, however, Whitney's life was filled with personal struggles that reflected none of the strength his character exhibited. His first marriage ended in divorce, and his second wife tragically died in a car accident, a loss that left Whitney emotionally shattered. The death of his wife pushed him into a spiral of alcoholism, which impacted his health and career. Despite his continued work in television, including roles in other popular series, his personal demons overshadowed his professional achievements. Whitney's life seemed forever clouded by grief, and his ability to maintain relationships or enjoy happiness was continually undermined. Peter Whitney passed away on March 30, 1972, at the age of 55, due to heart failure, marking the end of a troubled life, one that had been marred by deep personal loss and struggles with addiction. Richard Devon, who portrayed the cunning and calculating Austin Stark in The Rifleman, began filming the series in 1959 at the age of 33. Stark was a man with a sharp mind and a ruthless approach to getting what he wanted, a role that suited Devon's ability to play complex, morally ambiguous characters. While he had several notable roles during his career, Devon struggled with typecasting and often found himself playing similar villainous parts. His career, while steady, never reached the success it seemed poised for early on, and he faced constant challenges in finding diverse roles. Devon's personal life mirrored his professional struggles. He had an unhappy marriage and, tragically, no children to carry on his legacy. Financial issues compounded his difficulties, and his later years were filled with isolation and unfulfilled potential. Devon passed away on February 26, 2010, at the age of 83, leaving behind a career that never fully blossomed and a personal life marked by solitude and dissatisfaction. Glenn Strange, who played the dependable and strong Joey Cole in The Rifleman, began filming the series in 1958 at the age of 59. Strange's character, embodying the strength and resilience of the Old West, mirrored the actor's own robust physicality and presence on screen. However, Strange's personal life was filled with struggle and disappointment. Despite a solid career in westerns, including roles in other classic TV shows, he battled alcoholism and endured multiple failed marriages, which led to a sense of emotional turmoil and a lack of true connection. His personal challenges deepened as his health began to deteriorate, and in his later years, Strange faced a lonely battle with lung cancer. He passed away on September 20, 1973, at the age of 74, a life marked by the internal pain of addiction and isolation, which overshadowed the tough and reliable characters he played so well. Adam Williams, who portrayed Corporal Trock in The Rifleman, began filming the series in 1959 at the age of 37. Trock was a disciplined and loyal soldier, a role that suited Williams' clean-cut and dedicated demeanor. However, Williams' career and personal life took a darker turn as he faced the harsh realities of typecasting and financial instability. While his early career showed promise, he struggled to maintain a consistent presence in Hollywood, often relegated to supporting roles. His personal life mirrored his professional struggles. Williams had a tumultuous relationship history, with no lasting marriages or children to provide the emotional support he needed. As his career waned, he faced mounting financial pressures, leading to a quiet and isolated existence. Williams passed away on December 4, 2006, at the age of 84, leaving behind unrealized career potential and a personal life that never found stability or fulfillment. Reese Williams, who portrayed the seasoned and wise Doc Burridge on The Rifleman starting in 1959 at the age of 62, was known for his calm demeanor and medical expertise. However, behind the screen, Reese's personal life was full of turmoil. His marriage to actress Florence Williams, which began in the early 1930s, ended in a painful divorce after years of emotional struggles. Their 2 children were also affected by the family's disintegration, leading to strained relationships. In his later years, Reese faced financial hardships, struggling to maintain a steady income after his acting career slowed down. His personal grief continued to follow him as he became increasingly isolated. Reese passed away on May 28, 1969, at the age of 71 from a heart attack, his life reflecting the harsh realities of balancing professional success with a troubled personal life. Edgar Buchanan, who played Doc J. Burge on The Rifleman beginning in 1959 at the age of 56, portrayed a warm and selfless doctor who dedicated his life to caring for the people of North Fork. However, his personal life was riddled with heartache. Edgar's marriage to Margaret, which started in 1939, was fraught with challenges, especially as his wife struggled with a prolonged illness. Their relationship became strained, and the emotional toll of caring for her led to their eventual separation. Additionally, Edgar's life was shattered by the tragic loss of his daughter in a car accident, an event that left him devastated and emotionally scarred. Despite a successful career with over 100 film and TV credits, Edgar's personal life was often overshadowed by these sorrows. He passed away on April 4, 1979, at the age of 76 from a stroke, leaving behind a legacy of both on-screen warmth and deep personal loss. Richard Anderson, who played Duke Jennings on The Rifleman beginning in 1959 at the age of 33, was known for portraying a strong, resilient frontier character. Yet, in his personal life, Richard faced numerous hardships. He married actress Caroline Joyce in 1955, but their relationship was plagued by infidelities and constant emotional strain, ultimately leading to their divorce in 1961. Despite his steady career with roles in numerous films and TV shows, Richard's personal life never seemed to settle. The divorce left him emotionally drained, and he struggled with feelings of loneliness in the years that followed. Financial problems also became a concern for Richard as he tried to maintain his status in Hollywood. He died on August 31, 2017, at the age of 91 due to natural causes, leaving behind a legacy of professional success but a personal life marred by loneliness and hardship. Charles Tannen, who portrayed the kind and dependable Barney on The Rifleman starting in 1959 at the age of 44, became beloved for his warm, trustworthy character. Barney's readiness to lend a hand to those in need reflected Tannen's own persona off-screen. However, Tannen's real life wasn't as fulfilling as his on-screen role. He had 2 marriages, both of which ended in divorce, and he had no children. His career never reached the level of fame he longed for, despite steady work on television. Tannen faced a life filled with loneliness, frustration, and a deep sense of missed opportunity. His health deteriorated over time, and he struggled with depression in his later years. On December 18, 1980, Tannen passed away at 65 due to a heart attack. His personal struggles left largely unrecognized, overshadowed by a career that, while steady, failed to bring him the fulfillment he sought. Denver Pyle, who began his role as Frank Hazlitt on The Rifleman in 1959 at the age of 39, was known for his steadfast portrayal of a loyal and hardworking family man. However, off-screen, Pyle's personal life was anything but stable. He was married twice, and both marriages ended in divorce, leaving him emotionally burdened by the failures of his relationships. Although he had children, Pyle's family life was strained, and he struggled with feelings of failure and regret. His career in Hollywood remained steady, but his emotional well-being deteriorated over time. In his later years, Pyle was diagnosed with lung cancer, and after a prolonged battle, he passed away on December 25, 1997, at the age of 77. Despite his success in television, Pyle's life was shadowed by his troubled relationships, his internal struggles, and the ravaging effects of cancer, leaving him a figure of both professional triumph and personal tragedy. Jack Elam, who took on the role of the rugged and tough Gates in 1958 at 38 years old, was famous for his portrayal of villains in westerns, and Gates was no exception, embodying the hard, resilient character of the frontier. Off-screen, Elam's life was often marked by emotional turbulence. His first marriage ended in divorce, and despite marrying again, his second marriage faced significant challenges, leaving him isolated and struggling with inner demons. Though his acting career was highly successful, his personal life was filled with hardship. Elam battled loneliness, depression, and declining health as he grew older. He faced several medical issues, including a debilitating struggle with congestive heart failure. On October 20, 2003, Elam died at 82 from the condition, his passing marking the end of a long career that was tainted by his personal tragedies and emotional battles. K.T. Stevens, who portrayed Emma Lincoln in The Rifleman starting in 1960 at the age of 41, was celebrated for her portrayal of a strong, compassionate woman who faced life's challenges with grace and determination. However, her personal life was far less serene. Stevens' marriage to actor Don Kelly ended in divorce, and their son, also an actor, struggled with his own personal demons, leading to an increasingly strained relationship between mother and son. Despite finding success in television, Stevens' emotional world was marked by feelings of isolation and unfulfilled hopes. Her career in acting began to dwindle as she aged, and in the early 1990s, she was diagnosed with lung cancer. She faced her final days quietly and alone, passing away on June 13, 1994 at the age of 74. Her death came after a prolonged battle with the illness, leaving behind a legacy of strength on screen but an enduring sadness in her personal life, largely defined by loss and separation. Warren Oates, who played the tough Andrew Shelton in The Rifleman from 1958 at the age of 30, had a career filled with notable performances but struggled immensely with personal issues that overshadowed his successes. His marriage to actress Judy McGrath ended in divorce, and he faced a tumultuous relationship with his children. Despite critical acclaim for his performances, Oates was never fully satisfied with his career, often feeling that he was typecast in roles that didn't reflect his true talent. His dissatisfaction, combined with chronic depression, made it difficult for him to find peace in his personal or professional life. By the early 1980s, Oates had become increasingly withdrawn, and his health began to deteriorate. At just 53 years old, he passed away from a heart attack on April 3, 1982, leaving behind a body of work that failed to truly mirror the inner complexities of his own life. His early death served as a tragic punctuation to a life filled with both professional achievement and personal despair. Robert Foulk, who portrayed Toomey in The Rifleman beginning in 1959 at the age of 51, was known for playing the hard-working, dependable character who was always willing to lend a helping hand to the community of North Fork. Yet, in his personal life, Foulk faced many difficulties. His career, although steady, never blossomed into the fame and recognition that he had hoped for. His first marriage ended in a bitter divorce, and he struggled with relationships afterward, experiencing failed second and third marriages. Unfortunately, his personal life mirrored his character's role, full of emotional distance and estrangement, especially from his children, who grew apart from him over time. Foulk also dealt with health problems in his later years, and by the time of his death on February 25, 1989, at 80, he had largely faded from the public eye. Michael Pate, who portrayed Brad Davis in The Rifleman starting in 1958 at the age of 38, was an actor known for his intense portrayals of characters facing adversity. However, Pate's own life was marked by much personal turmoil. Despite achieving success in both film and television, his marriages were fraught with difficulty and both ended in divorce. His relationship with his children was strained, and as his career slowed, Pate found himself grappling with financial difficulties and growing loneliness. His personal life seemed to reflect the roles he often played on screen, characters who were strong but struggling with their own internal conflicts. In his later years, Pate battled poor health and, despite continued work in the industry, the toll of his personal challenges weighed heavily on him. He passed away on September 1, 2008 at the age of 88 from pneumonia, his death marking the end of a life filled with both professional successes and personal struggles that he never fully overcame. Royal Dano, who played Aaron Wingate on The Rifleman starting in 1959 at the age of 37, was known for his deep voice and wisdom, embodying the character of a man with a rich understanding of the world around him. However, Dano's own life was plagued with personal and professional struggles. He faced a difficult first marriage that ended in divorce, and his second marriage was equally tumultuous, riddled with financial and emotional struggles that ultimately led to another divorce. Dano's personal demons, particularly his battles with alcoholism and depression, caused him to become increasingly withdrawn, both from his career and from his loved ones. Though he continued to act throughout his life, his personal problems began to overshadow his professional successes. He passed away on May 15, 1994, at the age of 71, from a heart attack, his death a reflection of the turmoil that defined much of his personal life. Charles Cooper, who played Hank Fulton in The Rifleman beginning in 1958 at the age of 32, was known for his strong, grounded performances. He portrayed characters with resilience, much like his own character in the series, but his own life was far from stable. Cooper's career, although steady, never achieved the level of success he had hoped for, leaving him with a sense of dissatisfaction. His personal life, too, was filled with hardship. His first marriage ended tragically with the death of a child, a devastating blow that led to his divorce. His second marriage fared no better, ultimately ending in separation. Cooper's battles with depression took a toll on both his personal relationships and his career, and he struggled to find fulfillment in either area of his life. He passed away on November 29, 2013, at the age of 87, a figure largely forgotten by the public, having lived much of his later years in seclusion, reflecting on a career and life full of missed opportunities and heartache. Paul Carr, who portrayed the determined and brave Derek Hanaway, began filming The Rifleman in 1959 at the age of 25. Derek was often involved in the most difficult and dangerous situations on the frontier, his resourcefulness and perseverance making him a memorable character. Carr's career, while marked by occasional success, was shadowed by personal tragedies. His early promise in Hollywood quickly faded as he found himself typecast in roles that didn't fully showcase his abilities. His personal life was similarly filled with hardship. Carr went through multiple unsuccessful marriages, leaving him emotionally scarred. Despite having children from his unions, his family life was fraught with conflict and separation, and he struggled to find any lasting happiness or stability. To make matters worse, Carr was diagnosed with lung cancer, and the disease soon took its toll. He passed away on February 17, 2006, at the age of 72. Whit Bissell, who played the wise and level-headed Gabe Fenway on The Rifleman, began filming the series in 1959 at the age of 50. Gabe was a trusted figure in North Fork, offering sage advice to those around him, embodying the experience and wisdom that often comes with age. Bissell's career, though filled with numerous supporting roles, was never as high-profile as his talents deserved. He often found himself cast in small parts, which led to a quiet career in the background. His personal life was marked by unhappiness, as he had a troubled marriage to his wife, with whom he had 2 children. Unfortunately, the marriage ended in divorce, and Bissell faced isolation for much of his later years. His struggles didn't stop there. Bissell was also diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, a condition that gradually robbed him of his abilities and quality of life. He passed away on March 5, 1996, at the age of 86, a poignant end to a life marked by professional unfulfilled potential and personal sorrow. Lawrence Dobkin, who played the rugged and resilient Ben Judson in The Rifleman, began filming the series in 1958 at the age of 39. Ben was a character who could weather the harshest of conditions and always found a way to survive, no matter the odds. Dobkin's career, however, was filled with ups and downs. While he had a steady stream of work, including roles in both television and film, he never quite reached the fame that many of his contemporaries enjoyed. His personal life mirrored the turmoil of his professional one. He had 2 failed marriages, both of which left him emotionally and financially strained. Dobkin's struggles didn't end there, as he suffered from heart disease in his later years, a condition that exacerbated his already unstable health. He died on October 28, 2002, at the age of 83 from heart failure. Jack Kruschen, who portrayed the kind-hearted Dr. Burridge in The Rifleman beginning in 1959 at the age of 37, was known for his compassionate nature and willingness to help others in the rugged town of North Fork. Off-screen, Jack's personal life was filled with hardships that contrasted with his nurturing character. His marriage to his wife, Gloria, was strained by long periods of separation due to his demanding career. They had one son, Gregory, but the family was torn apart by financial difficulties and Jack's bouts of depression. His struggles with personal demons became more pronounced as his career stagnated and his health deteriorated. Jack's life was further marked by the tragic death of his son, Gregory, in a car accident, an event that left him grief-stricken and shattered. Though he continued working in Hollywood, the pain of his losses never subsided. Jack Kruschen passed away on April 2, 2002, at the age of 80 due to natural causes. Lee Van Cleef, who played the rugged and resilient Dan Maury on The Rifleman beginning in 1959 at the age of 34, became known for his portrayal of tough characters in westerns. Yet, behind the tough exterior of his on-screen roles, Lee's personal life was filled with turmoil. His first marriage to actress and model, Judy, ended in a bitter divorce, leaving Lee to battle loneliness. Despite his rising fame, his professional life was tainted by his constant struggle with alcoholism and a growing sense of dissatisfaction. Lee remarried in 1964 to his second wife, Barbara, but their relationship was rocky, plagued by his frequent infidelities and emotional distance. Lee also faced financial instability, which led him to work tirelessly, often at the expense of his health. His struggles intensified when he was diagnosed with heart disease in his later years. Lee Van Cleef passed away on December 16, 1989, at the age of 64 from a heart attack. Who is your favorite character from The Rifleman? How do you feel knowing that some of the actors have passed away? Don't hesitate to leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this content, please remember to like, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you won't miss future videos. Thank you so much.